Welcome back to Kryptolytix, giving you a fresh take on crypto analytics. Today I'm going to look at this quick macro chart here, one where it's got some long-term logarithmic regression bands, a median line here in the middle, and also, we have the bottom line here, which is connecting a lot of the older data, especially the sell zone here, like the bottom around here in 2015. And the pandemic crash here. So, we didn't get anywhere near the bottom here on this one. So, it's not really, this probably would be better if this was at the floor here, but we're going to consider this as the floor, as the bottom of this range, of this particular cycle, because it did get there. So, we should probably consider that. So, first things first, our RSI, look at that on our weekly, we are so oversold, but it doesn't necessarily mean we can't keep going down, because, for example, we were oversold here, but we continued on to form a lower low. We were oversold in 2015, but we continued on to form a lower low. So, does oversold mean that's the bottom? No, it does not. What it means, we're probably going to recover a little bit, maybe do a little something like this, where we maybe give a bit of recovery and then maybe back down to test these levels here. So I'm looking at the logarithmic scale on the Fibonacci. So the way you do that is just here, tick this box. So this is measuring from the pandemic crash low, to the second peak last year. And what we have here is the 16,352. We haven't quite got there yet, but we can see, it's getting pretty close. So as you can see, we've got some moving averages on the chart here as well. This blue one here is the 200 here. So you can see here the 200, that one there. That's the blue one. We got a 50. This is a weekly timescale, by the way, just so you know. And then 21 is the blue one here. So basically, we're just having a look at these moving averages. Yeah, we've broken out past the 200, and it's going to be a bit of a struggle to get back there, right? So this, interestingly enough, this logarithmic curve chart, this particular one, the floor is 14K, and I'm not sure we'll be getting there, but it's still interesting to look at. And there's 0.618 on the logarithmic timescale going from pandemic crash to the second peak of last year. Well, has us going to around 11,645, which would break this, but these logarithmic growth curves can be broken, especially in the midst of recession, depression, hyperinflation, all these crazy macro scale environment factors. It's we could kind of do anything really at the moment. Another quick thing I'm looking at is the Bollinger Bands. These Bollinger Bands buy and sell zones. It's pretty cool. I quite like this. It's a lot of break-evens though with this, but it kind of just shows you what kind of market we're in. So here we flipped to a bear market, as you can quite clearly see. Here we tried to get back into the bull market. That was kind of failed and rejected there. But then, we had the pandemic crash here, and then this would have been a good time to buy back in, essentially, for the inevitable move to the upside. This chart here, which I haven't actually looked at since Q1 last year, which is pretty funny, because as you can see, I've got a 2022 line in there, so I was just like, when's next year? So yeah, basically back in Jan, it pegged us as entering the bear market. So this retest here, this attempt to get back up, would have been probably a good time to just sell up assets essentially and go from there. But here we are, and I really like this trend line here, right? Think about it on the macro scale. So we've got a big run up here. We get rejected probably off this band here, come back down, break out. And this, to me, looks like a retest of this trend line, right? Because I drew this trend line all the way to the bottom of the bands. And when I saw this retest, I was like, yeah, we're going up. It's going to be all good. I was like, yeah, it's gonna look like this. We're gonna go crazy like up here. But obviously that didn't happen. These bands don't even have 100k for a while, I believe. It's a lot of... Let me just turn these EMAs off because they're making a bit of a mess up the side of the screen. Yeah, 100k's there. Let's stop with the bands. That would be like a parabolic move to the upside. By the end of the year, these bands didn't even allow for that. The soonest they allowed for 100k was August this year. But again, like, these log regression bands can easily get broken. But yeah, I just quite like this shape here. It's a typical move, you know, move up, get rejected from something, come back down, retest some Fibonacci level, which is right here, retest this Fibonacci here, as it did, and then come back out, break out to the upside, form a higher high, which is confirmation of a breakout generally. Unfortunately, yeah, we did have this here, which is, you know, that's kind of, we have this big sell here to indicate we're entering the bear market. So, I mean, that could be a sign of invalidation, or you could just see this as a longer term attempt at retesting. So we got rejections. So we got a retest here, failure to push or make any higher high and just create a lower high essentially, and then break down to the next level. This is the median line. Again, I drew this last year, so I don't know how many people are looking at this, but we did get down there here. So I don't know. I drew these myself, just to put things in perspective. These are logarithmic lines. So, but we did touch it here, and then we came back up to try and get back to above this level. Couldn't do it. I'm sure there's some moving averages there that are of some significance. So let's bring these back so we can see. With a 200-day or something like that, I would say. Bring these back, shall we? Yeah, so this is probably a bit more significant. 200-week moving average, bounced off that essentially, you can see. And yeah, we didn't quite get to anything really. Maybe the 100-week is there. I'm not really sure. Turn it on, have a look, but I'm not going to. Anyway, so what we could see, what we're seeing here is that we're seeing a classic retest. And do we break down below it? Maybe we get something like this, where we come down here. This is the retest of this. Maybe we chop a little bit. Maybe we come back up to like 23k, get rejected, come back down to either the 0.5, or even maybe we go to the 618, right? 12k, pure capitulation zone. People freaking out. Fear is at like 1 or minus 50 on the fear and greed index. And then we pop back up into this range, essentially. Or we take these levels back. And then let me just clean that up. So yeah, something like this. Capitulation, back into the growth curves, because it tends to break the model each time, kind of thing, when there's a big dip down. And then it's just like, you know, big capitulation wick, where it's just like pulls back into a range. In this case, back to the 200-week moving average, held as support, and then came back up. So, and then yeah, maybe we just enter the accumulation zone, where just do that one more time. So here, then back up maybe to here, then down to some of these levels here. We don't know where. I'm just going to say the 0.5, because I quite like this level. It works with one of my other charts as well, but you know, we could go lower. But let's just say we do this, you know, wick back above into the range, kind of go sideways for a bit, right? Just the accumulation zone, and then we start to do something a little like this. Maybe we get rejected again, come back down, and maybe we just start this whole process again. You know, who knows? We don't really know what's going to happen, but it's still interesting to see. But yeah, this oversold. Remember, like you can get lower when it's oversold, but it's generally a time where the accumulation zone probably will start beginning, because it happened in previous cycles as well. We can see back here as well, you know, oversold region, accumulation zone, right? Quite clearly. Oversold. Yeah, oversold. Whoa, big arrow, big arrow. You want a small arrow here. Oversold, accumulation zone, then boom. You know, and then we've got over here, oversold, accumulation zone, and then boom. I mean, kind of boom. then we got a boom here, which is just like, Mr. Virus, let's do that to you. Let's just kill the market. And then yeah, sort of same sort of deal hopefully here, where we just go, you know, come back, there's some levels, something like this. Oh, that was a bit messy, sorry. Let's just leave them there, just for fun. Test some of these levels, and then accumulation zone, and then boom, you know. And this is great, I really like this trend line retest. It's just a really typical move, like breakout, higher high, come back down, retest some of these levels. This would be like the accumulation zone, essentially. These areas here, accumulation, you know, just bounce around here a little bit and then boom, you know. This is just really classic, really typical. Anyway, that's just a little quick update using this chart. I quite like these Bollinger Band buy and sell. You can get that indicator for free. It's a lazy bear one. Let me just clear all these messy arrows off the chart for a second and just do here and then just type in BB, because that's how you get up a Bollinger Band. The indicators go. Takes its sweet time, isn't it? BB. And then this one here by Goik Roth. It's a very interesting name there, isn't it? On the weekly chart, it's kind of cool because it shows you where the bull and bear markets typically are. It's definitely one to look at. I wouldn't use it to trade necessarily, but it's cool just to look at and see kind of where we are. Maybe you could use these as your confirmations for lower time frames. So like you see here, like, oh, we've entered the bear market, so I'm going to start offloading at the next retest, right? You know what I mean? Like, so we're like, oh, cool, we're at the bull market where we went buy. Ooh, hang on, I think I went wrong. So yeah, buy here, and then you're like, okay, we'll buy back in on the retest. Obviously, probably in that circumstance, you would have got a better position if you just bought. But here, like for example, we're like, okay, we're in the bear market. All right, I'll just offload everything on the next retest. Boom, like that on there. Again, very similar, I suppose. But then, yeah, like buy, and then the retest, I guess in this circumstance, you missed out. So I guess, yeah, you kind of just got to figure out your own strategy when you're looking at these sorts of things in these very high time frames. Most trading is generally done on much lower time frames than the weekly, but this is kind of cool as like a buy, not buy and hold, but a swing kind of trading strategy. Obviously this was something that, you know, was a huge outlier, essentially, very big outlier in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, that is this chart. It's kind of cool, you know, can be kind of helpful. I really am looking forward to when we get one of these buy flags, but this is very lagging. I believe this is a very lagging indicator, so you probably won't get a buy flag on this Bollinger Band buy sell until we get to like, you know, the 23k level or something, which is fine, you know, because again, we don't know where the floor is, but you know, it's still kind of cool. And it's just sort of like when we get that flag, you can start thinking, okay, now it's time to be a bit more bullish and start looking at my HODL portfolio once again, rather than just doing these, you know, 6% swings on day trading. Not sure if anyone's day trading right now, but I sure am. So anyway, hope you liked the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you got some use out of this. And remember, this is not financial advice. This is just me showing you a chart. You know, make of it what you will. I'll probably come back to this chart at some stage, just so I can supply an update on it, and we can see where we're at. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.